Hey guys, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of Legends of Tomorrow Season 5 review series, and today I am going to be talking about episode 13, the one where we're trapped on TV. Now this episode was pretty stupid. I wouldn't go out and say this episode was the worst. I would say that honour still belongs to episode 11's Freaks and Geeks, because I thought that episode was absolutely terrible. But this episode, I just didn't see any point to it, really. I mean, episode 12, I Am Legends, was fantastic, especially the last few minutes at the end where we saw all of the legends fighting off all of the zombies and Sarah dies, and I thought that was a really good episode, and it left it wide open for something awesome to happen in episode 13, and all we've got was this. I just thought this was absolutely stupid, but I have to be honest, I did enjoy the scenes where they're making fun of Star Trek, even though I am a big fan of Star Trek. But to see them make fun of Captain Kirk and Spock was quite hilarious. But for the most part, I just didn't like this episode one bit. Just didn't like it at all. We saw the return of Mona. I know. I know, I don't like her either. But anyway, this episode saw the return of Mona, and she was kind of in the heart of this entire episode as she figured out that the legends were trapped in various TV shows. So, yeah, didn't like it at all. Just didn't see the point. Anyway, before I get started, I just want to quickly announce that we are one episode away from wrapping up the Season 5 review series for good. And I just want to quickly say that even though Season 5 hasn't been perfect, it's been 10 times better than Season 4, and certainly a big improvement because, as I've said countless times, I felt Season 4 was the worst season of Legends of Tomorrow, and certainly the worst season that the show has produced. And if it wasn't for Ray Palmer and Nora Dark, aka Brandon Routh and Courtney Ford, Season 4 would have just crashed and burned. And even though they're both gone from Season 5 and left the show for good, you could certainly feel that something was definitely missing because they carried the show, well, certainly the later parts of the run. But yeah, overall Season 5 wasn't perfect, but certainly a big improvement from 4. But that's going to be for a whole different video for another time. So, with that all said, let's get right into it. Let's talk about episode 13, the one where we're trapped on TV. So the episode opens up on a bleak alternate timeline where we see Mona is in charge of writing the official history of the world. Oh boy. It's sanitized beyond parody, and she can't remember any of her own personal history. After a brief conversation with her supervisor, Atropos appears on a monitor at the end of the room to let him know that his life is at an end and his thread is hereby cut. He slumps onto his desk just as the workday ends, so Mona takes his desk plant home with her. While she walks home, everyone looks the same, everyone acts the same, except a wild-haired Gary who is a doom and gloom protester saying the world is wrong. Meanwhile, in the Fates world, everyone wears grey and eats mush, then lives vicariously through TV characters. Mona comes home and starts watching Ultimate Buds, a Friends-style parody sitcom that focuses on Birad, Zari and Nate as lovable neighbours in wacky sitcom situations. When I watched this scene, it's kind of reminded me of an old show that I used to watch now and then called Two Guys and a Girl, and it was kind of like a mixture of Two Guys and a Girl and Friends. That's what it felt like to me. In the episode, we see Zari and Nate play a will they, won't they couple, kind of what's been going on with them for the past couple of seasons, while Birad is Zari's brother, just as he is in real life. He has the totem but doesn't know what it is, and when he gets mush sprayed on him, the result of Nate's over-enthusiastic story about how he is auditioning to play Robin Hood in a show called, you guessed it, Arrow, he takes it off to go change. As soon as he leaves the room, it lights up, and when Nate touches it, it shocks him, and a vision of Zari, the original version, steps out of it. She walks into TV Zari's body and possesses her and hugs Nate and says she is thrilled to see him. She notices the studio audience and quickly realises something is wrong. As she starts quizzing Nate about where the other legends are, she rattles off names that include Mona Wu, and Mona realises something isn't right. When she sees Birad and is shocked to see him alive, Birad and Nate assume she has eaten a Birad brownie, so when the boss knocks at the door, they rush her into a closet to hide. She realises what's going on, summons the totem to her and blows the door out, trying to explain the situation to a confused Birad and Nate. When she finds a door that doesn't seem to go anywhere, Zari opens it and brings the two of them through it to a whole different show. Suddenly dressed in fancy period clothes, the three of them find themselves in a show called High Castle Abbey, where John Constantine is a butler who takes care of Astra and her mother, who is looking to set her up with an aristocrat, which is none other than Birad. Assuming that Nate is the Tazari family valet, they send him away with John. As Astra and Birad get to know each other, Zari leaves to track down Constantine. As she tells him about his real life, she mentions Gary, and Mona goes to get him. They discover that John knows magic here too, and that will send him to another show in order to get rid of them and keep the secret that he's got magic from his wealthy family. Astra and Birad meanwhile have decided to run away from High Castle Abbey and start a new life together. All of them leave together to find themselves on the set of Star Trek, a Star Trek knockoff where Sarah and Ava have replaced Kirk and Spock as co-captains of the Enter Rider, which is a mock-up of the Wave Rider. Unfortunately for the other legends, they jump into the bodies of villainous space bandits, and Sarah and Ava go on the offensive. Things aren't improved when Nate and Birad, trying to prove that the reality is fake, launch an attack on Sarah and Ava, killing their robotic crew. At Clotho Productions, where Charlie creates the shows on TV, Gary and Mona con their way in claiming to be there to fill the mush vending machines. Meanwhile, on the show, Sarah and Ava get transported to the Glumulan ship where the crew are. While they talk about it, Mona and Gary start to piece together what exactly has happened as they see an algorithm writing scripts in real time for the shows they're watching, and the Legends life threads attached to the computers. Back inside Star Trek, the team respond to a signal from a distant world, the theme song to Mr. Parker's cul-de-sac, and are pulled through space by a giant hand in a red sweater. On Mr. Parker's, the team find themselves dressed as small-town heroes, although still holding on to their previous TV identities. They can't figure out how to get out of there, but after a rousing speech from Zari about the importance of who the Legends are and what they do, Mona types into the computers that the Legends remember who they are. Just after they do, Charlie storms in and tells Gary and Mona that they have ruined everything, as she rewrites reality to send everyone back to where they started, although now they know who they both are, including both Zaris. At High Castle Abbey, Astra realises that her mother is a character on a TV show, not her real mother, but John tells her that they can stay anyway if that's what she wants, because everything that went wrong in his life flowed forth from the Newcastle incident. On Star Trek, Ava tries to convince Sarah to stay behind because she saw Sarah die during the zombie apocalypse. Sarah realises that Charlie gave them everything they thought they wanted back at the pub, but doesn't make it real. When Mick shows up as the Don, a Khan doppelganger from Wrath of Khan, and blasts their ship, Sarah refuses to defend the Enter Rider, assuming that since Charlie had given them a world where they never lost, losing would get their show cancelled and freed. Mick, Sarah and Ava find themselves backstage at High Castle Abbey, where John and Astra are with Natalie, who says she's heard Astra longing for an adventure and bought her a ticket to London to have her own life. Astra tells John they can't stay, and John tells her that her real mother would be proud of her. He casts a spell and they join the other legends backstage. On Ultimate Buds, Zari realises they are being used to indoctrinate the masses and starts talking about insurrection and taking control of their own lives. Their show 2 is also cancelled and the team are all found together. They are approached by Charlie, who tries to convince them to go back to their old lives by splitting Zari's life thread, giving the team both Zaris. The team rejects her offer, leaving the backstage area. They're free now, but Charlie can't protect them anymore from her sisters, and that wraps up episode 13. Some good moments, but as I said at the beginning, not my favourite episode. Wouldn't say this episode was terrible. That's still episode 11, Freaks and Geeks. But yeah, this episode was mostly pretty stupid, but there was some good moments, so can't completely slam it, but yeah, this wasn't my favourite. So I'm going to wrap this up now. What's your thoughts on episode 13? Did you like it? What was your thoughts on the Star Trek parody? Did you find it amusing? And also, how do you think the legends will stop Charlie's sisters? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will be back next time for the final edition of the Legends of Tomorrow Season 5 review series, where I'll be talking about episode 14. So that should be a lot of fun to talk about, especially with the way episode 14 ends. So until next time, take care everybody and stay safe.